All right. Good evening, LinkedIn. Dave Wilson, the Ring of Hire Show. Hey, tonight's show is going to be pretty cool. It's about first time becoming a new supervisor, and you went from that lead position. Now you're promoted. Now you're a boss, and we're going to talk about some challenges that you might have, and we'll be right back after this message. Good evening, everyone. Dave Wilson of the Ring of Hire Show. Hey, you're a supervisor. Woo! You finally made it. You got promoted. And tonight I just wanted to discuss a few things that you might want to just be prepared for. You know, it's not, wow. Becoming a new manager when you're younger, for those who've been in management for a while, you look back and all the years of learning, you're revolving, of writing people up, making them a better person, improve their skills, you name it, and let me tell you, when you think that you've seen it all, sometimes you say to yourself, wow, I've seen it all. You haven't. Something always comes across your desk and what you do. So when you're first promoted, it's kind of a shell shock to everybody. Your team, if you're in logistics and wow, you're a lead now you're going to be becoming their boss. Your friends from last week are now your employees. So it changes the dynamics, and it's okay to be nervous. Some of the things I'll never forget. Boy, I don't think you sleep that first couple of nights. Your mind, what do you want to do? You're the boss now. You're in charge. You make decisions. All those times of being on the floor saying, oh, if I was in charge, I would do this. You start to see that it's not always that easy. You start to come across things that you never thought you would. And the fun begins on day one. I mean, you set your brand. You set who you're going to be about and the way you act. Some of the employees are going to be very distant from you. Some of them might be quiet. Some of them are just going to be like, all right, now it's my turn. They're going to try to get back at you or something. There's always something going on between that crew. And, you're not going to change the world becoming a first-time supervisor like that. If you go in with that mentality of going into being a boss now, you're promoted, right? I'm a boss, and it doesn't work. It'll always backfire on you. It's okay to be nervous. I tell new supervisors all the time, it's okay, man. Be nervous. Ask questions. Now that you're on both sides of the fence. You got your upper management, and you got yourself, and you got your subordinates, right? So you actually got to feel everybody out. You got to feel the people that are up, and you got to feel the people that are down on how they're going to act with you being promoted. Especially ask questions. Listen, ask questions to your boss of what it was like when he became a boss. Ask your friends, your family that might be managers as well, and what to expect, because they're going to watch you. They're going to watch you on that day one. And the best thing I can tell you to do, if you're going to do a group meeting, and when they introduce is, man, have that speech practice, boy. Write those notes down the night before. Write them all down. This is what I want to say, because you're all nervous. I'm telling you, you're going to get up there in front of all these people, and it's no more, Mr. Nice Guy all the time, or you're responsible for that crew and they get that production done. And when you get out there, it's an adjustment for all. So you're going to get pushback. You're going to get pushback from some of your friends that just might mess around with you. You're going to get pushback from some of your enemies that, listen, man, they're going to screw you every which way they can if they can. They're going to do something behind your back, because just because you think you know that job, you don't. You don't know everything about that job. You think you do because you were promoted to a supervisor, but you don't. You're going to learn every single day, like, wow, man, when this happened, right? I mean, just from being alone, like when you do that first meeting, there's going to be, you could have like 50 to 100 people. And you got that one or two people in the back that's going to heckle you. They're going to say something with an attitude. They're going to come across, and that happened. You know, I look back, I laugh now because you learn. And now, listen, if I'm doing a meeting, or, you know, you learn, you evolve. If you're doing a meeting, man, I'll sit there, and you know, why don't you just call them out, have them leave the meeting, and talk to them afterwards. Just say, you know, go ahead and leave. Tell them right in front of everybody. They'll leave. They're going to be shocked that you called them out, but I don't put up with that now. You can't. You got to set that standard. You're going to go in there. They're going to be talking and talking and talking as you're trying to talk, and that's when you need to kind of change that tone a little bit. You're going to learn. You're going to fail. You're going to be like, why did I say that? Why did I say that? You're going to go back in the office. Oh, man, I don't want to go back out on that floor. You're going to sit at your desk. And you're going to be like, listen, I've been there. I've done all this, and it's not fun. And because it's an adjustment for everyone. The managers are going to watch you. Your bosses are going to watch you. They're going to want to see results of what you can do. They promoted you knowing that you could do that. The only thing is, you can know everything about your job, but it doesn't make you a leader. It doesn't always make you that you can manage people. So, you know, try to get some courses, try to take some classes, feed off as much seminars that you can, webinars, everything that you can get, and TED Talks. I love watching those things. I don't care. YouTube it. You can be a YouTube star now and be a manager, you know, and learn every single thing and mistakes people make. And I always say, take a lot of notes. Take a lot of notes for things that are going on during the day, because you're going to get faced with challenges, and challenges every single day is going to be something different, you know. But what I do say, when you have a new, when you get yourself a new crew, you know them, and, you know, these are kind of things that I used to do. I used to write down all their names and some of their strengths, just some of the bullet points. You know, John, Cindy, you know, this person was strong in this area, this person in that area, what was positive about them and what was negative about them. You got to learn how to lead that crew, and you're going to have to delegate and put somebody in charge of making sure you get the job done. And that's one of the hardest things too, because you're going to want to jump in there all the time. You're going to want in there, man, work right along with them, which that's good sometimes. And trust me, I've done it. I've done almost the whole job, but you learn, you have to try to back off a little bit and develop that next leader, develop that next lead that's going to take your place. You know, I've always learned that you really want to put somebody in charge when you're not there. You're going to start looking at, well, wow, I think this person there is going to make a good lead. You talk with the person, and these are the kind of things every single day, things are going to pop up about it. So write everything down. Write down your goals of what you want. Write your goals down of where you want to be, you know, a year from now. Being a first-line supervisor comes with a lot of responsibilities. There's just so much, and we're going to go over some things that could just pop up. And you're not going to change the world in a week. Breathe. Just, if I had to do it all over again, I always say, what would I have done? You know, and a lot of the things I would have just stepped back, watched it. And then when some of the ideas that I had when I was on the floor, you can see sometimes now why they wouldn't work. A lot of people say, why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? Well, when you get on the other side, if you want to call it the other side of being a manager, you start to realize now that's why you can't do this. There is a lot of different reasons on both sides. So you're going to start to learn, and you got to go back out to those people, your employees, and teach them that. You got to be able to go out there and say, this is why we couldn't do this. Because now you're going to understand why, because of corporate and there's a lot of red tape and all that kind of different things. But you're going to have to figure out a way now to tell them what you were just doing, complaining about. And that's where it gets a little tricky sometimes, but it's okay to be nervous. I'm telling you, if you're not nervous, there's something wrong. If I was to take over a new site right after today, let's just say I walk in, would I be nervous to meet a new crew? Yeah, but I'll tell you what, I'd be very excited also, because if you bring that passion and you bring that communication, enthusiasm, and you bring that into a good shift, right? They're going to love you. They can read you right off the bat, what type of boss you're going to be. So really, really practice what you talk. It's okay to be nervous. It's okay to be nervous. It's okay to be nervous. You're going to make mistakes and learn from them. Don't second guess yourself. Why did I do that? Right? Because I'm going to go over some things that could happen. So be prepared for everything. Listen, when it comes to writing people up for the first time, attendance, right? Think about it. Now that you're the boss, you have to bring them people into the office and discipline, write them up, progressive discipline, right through, right? All the way through. Think about how that felt. You got your friend in there that you thought you was your friend. Now you're on the opposite roles. You can't have favorism, and that's one thing you're going to learn. If I had to go back years and years when I was younger with it, is you got to really watch the favoritism. If you think you know somebody's always going to be up your butt. If you want to say just a kiss and ass, would you? That's just normal. But that's okay. But you got to learn how to keep everything separate now. You can't be friends with everybody. And that's what the main thing is I'm trying to get across here too, is friends are friends, but boss, employee, you can still have that fine line. I mean, you could still be in the middle there, but they got to realize you are the boss. And that's the hardest thing of being a new supervisor, that people, they want to go out, change the world, do this, do that, and it just doesn't work out that way. You're going to have to write your employees up. To be nervous, be nervous. It's okay. Write it down. Practice it. If you've never done it before, again, practice it. You don't have to talk to yourself, what you're going to say. Have it written down in your notes with bullet points. That's the best advice I can do, because I forget all the time. I mean, people say, you forget. Well, that's true, but write it down. Especially when it comes performance reviews, which one thing I can suggest to you if you're a new supervisor is when you get on that other side, look at all your employees' records. Look at them. Look them up. See where they're at in their disciplinary. See where their strengths are, because you're never going to find out where their strengths are. They're not going to be documented. It's not. It's always the negative stuff inside that's written about someone. It's always negative. There's nothing in your systems that somebody says, well, Dave is such a great employee. He comes to work every day. It doesn't work like that. Only the negative things. Dave called off 3 times already. That's wrong, but you can change some of that. You can change. What I like becoming a new supervisor is that's a time to where you can try to get that small changes in, because the middle management will listen to you also, because you're new, you've done the job, but they're going to give you a little bit of space. They have to. If they don't give you some space to grow, you're going to feel that out on your middle management, because some of them might not like you that you got promoted because they wanted one of their persons to get promoted. So these are just some of the things that being a new supervisor, that it's okay, again, to make mistakes. And don't dwell on it. Don't go home at night. Listen, geez, if I was to say that for true, right? Whew. You'll go home at night, man. You'll sit there and, did I do this right? Or you're nervous. You did something wrong. You're going to have to say something. Being honest is about one of your best things that you can be. I'm telling you. Don't sugarcoat it. It always comes back, and you can always get hit on. Somebody always says something. It'll come out that it was your fault, or you did it, or you try to cover up for somebody. Don't do that. Don't do these things. You don't want to do that, because once you start going down that path, You're going to have to stick with it. Your crew is going to really understand you. They're going to be like, Dave don't care. He don't care. Dave doesn't care. He'll do that, right? They're the kind of things as a supervisor you want to watch out and really, really communicate with your upper management. Talk to your bosses. Keep human resources involved. I always say, if I had to look back, which I am, if I had to look back through the years, you're not alone. You're not alone when you're a supervisor. You're not. You have a team that's supposed to be coaching you. So they're going to want to get ideas. But if HR doesn't know of the problems, they can't fix it. So keep HR involved at all times. If you feel they need to know something, I'm telling you from my gut, just do it. They might tell you some other different ways to deal with situations because they're not really in those positions. They don't work with the people. They don't understand it. They think it's easy. But you do keep them involved. That's one of my best advice I can give you on that part. Recognize the employees. That's always the fun part. Listen, if you can recognize them and get them really involved and have that passion and show them that you're willing to change, work with them, they're gonna work with you. They're gonna give you ideas, right? And like I said, they're all gonna come after you. And don't always exclude. There's always a couple of them that people just don't like. They don't like you, right? As a supervisor might not like you, which is wrong. They might not like you as a person, as a friend, whatever, but that's unfair. Just because you don't like a way a person, let's just say, just the way they are. You don't like the nationality. You don't like the way they act. You don't like this about that person. They nitpick about this. Don't exclude them at all. Don't exclude them. Don't fall into that path, because when you do that, that comes back to bite you also. So stick, not everybody's perfect. Not every single person is perfect, but you can help that person. If you feel they have an attitude problem or they have problems, you can solve that by communication. You can pull that person off to the side. You can pull them into the office and you can say, you know what, John, I don't like the way you talk out there. It makes me feel like, you're putting me on the spot and everything like that. And normally when you do things like that, they're going to respect you. They really will. They'll kind of change. You're going to have your ones that aren't going to. They're just going to knock your head and you're going to be nervous as hell, to the point sometimes where you get angry. And when you get that anger, not that I've ever been there, but there's times where years when I was young, I engaged. And it's not very fun. You can engage and you can both start yelling, screaming. It doesn't get nothing. It does nothing, absolutely nothing. It just, you're the boss, okay? Those days of saying you're fired or get out are over. It's not that easy as people think until you get on that other side. But just keep an open mind on all your employees, because they're going through a lot of stress now because you are their boss. So try to work with them, because now you're their educator, their sponsor, their coach, their counselor, their director. There's so many different things that you are for them now that you're like, whoa, they're coming to me for advice. Sometimes because if they have problems, this is where, like on a personal problem, if somebody has a real personal problem, listen, you're not a psychiatrist. You're not if you don't know that you're going to give the great advice, go to HR or a seasoned manager, somebody that's been in to a couple years. Watch them, bring them into the meeting, have them talk to the person. And I've done that plenty of times. I'm telling you, you can watch somebody. I've learned a lot in management as becoming a leader by just listening to other people. I'd be standing there, I'm watching that person, I'm like, wow, all right, I like the way you say that. I can see people's faces. I get to see their body languages. Are they responding to the person while they're talking? They're the kind of things that you want to look at as an upper leader, right? You want to learn from them because they've been through all this. They're seasoned. They've been through. They're hardened. They've been yelled at. They've been screamed at. Because remember, being that middle supervisor, you're getting it up this way and you're getting it up the other way. So you're taking it from both ends. So you got to learn how to deal with that, of how to protect your team from them and then protect them from your team. It makes total sense. So they're just some of the kind of things that you want to watch out for. But some of the things in a meetings that I talked about that could just pop up. It's like, what are you going to do when you inherit an employee, right? You inherit an employee that's just negative. What are you going to do, right? What are you going to do when they're so negative and they're right after you? This is another type of person. Go to HR. If you can't handle that person, pull them in one-on-one. Sit down with them or her. Pull them into the office. Tell them you don't like their attitudes. You can be straightforward, because if you don't, that attitude's going to go on for a long time. You're going to, every single thing, doesn't matter what you're going to say, they are going to be just negative. And they're going to drive you freaking crazy, and they're going to make you lose your hair because you didn't say anything. Because if you don't nip those things in the butt, I'm telling you, get it over with. Don't let it build up for 2, 3, 4 weeks, and then all of a sudden, boom, you have a person right there. Now you explode on because you should have done something in the beginning. You should have helped that employee, or seen what was really behind the scenes. Maybe something's going on in their family. You don't know. And these are the kind of things that you're going to learn. You're going to grow. You're going to evolve. So these are kind of the things. There's also, again, stopping attitude problems. That is one of the hardest things. Oh my God, the attitudes. You get people that just don't want to work. They don't want to be there. I get to the point, it's like, just get out. If you're not happy, just tell them leave. It's simple as that. That keeps them real quiet when they're complaining about the job, right? Well, if you don't like it, just go. That's a joke. But you want to find out why they don't like the job. Find out why. Maybe it's something that you're saying or they're doing, or maybe the company can change. Just go ahead and try that. See what happens. I mean, that's what I strongly recommend. There's things of, where you're going to have to safety rules, right? Safety rules. I mean, let's face it, safety is number one. I have no problem, and any other good manager in safety, you see somebody doing something unsafe, that's a deal breaker. That's a deal breaker. I don't care who you are. Doesn't matter what level you're at. Doesn't matter if they're doing something unsafe. That's on you if they get hurt. So safety is a big thing. You're going to have to learn about performance. Not everybody, I should say, not everybody is equal, right? So, I mean, this person might be a little bit slower to learn. This one might be really a strong learner. She might be better at this part. The best part that I'd say getting out of being a new supervisor would have been, you can mold them. You can teach them. And then you'll sit back and say, wow, look at that. You taught that person. Get them the tools that they need. Provide them the tools to be successful. That's one of your best bets. Get them, show them the way, and make them happy in their job. They might even give you suggestions that they may not work that much. Just take it. Just do it. It's not going to hurt anything. Let that person build and learn from you. Whatever you can provide them in the tools of people. Not everybody trains as fast. So I would take a person, put them with someone else for a while. Don't in the beginning, as a supervisor, new supervisor, you're not going to change that person like that. But if you provide the tools, you provide the training, you provide the trainer, right? Put them with another trainer or something like that. Let them take a couple extra days. Not everybody might be as fast as you were. Just because you're fast doesn't make you a good supervisor. It might get you promoted because you're doing your job really well, but being fast isn't the best, or being slow isn't the worst, as long as you've done everything you can do to help that employee. If you've helped them every single way you could, then you have to go ahead and start the progressive discipline. There's nothing else. But you can do it in a way to where you can really, really make a difference with somebody. Just show them respect. Teach them. Just build them confidence, and you're going to see you can change. It can. Some of the other things, detail, efficiency, quality of speed, customer satisfaction, attitudes, excessive tardiness, all of them, bullying. Listen, sexual harassment, my biggest pet peeve is if you have someone complaining with anything that's any form of harassment, could be sexual harassment, could be just harassment in general. Take that, number one being the most serious that you can do. Every single word you say is going to be held against you in a way, because you better say the right things. My suggestion, and when it comes to even sexual harassment, I bring HR in right away. They are trained and know the proper way to have a meeting with people that have claimed sexual harassment, because that can be really messy, or a boss is just being nice to another person. Don't go down that alley. Don't go down that way. Really steer away from all that favoritism and all that, and stick to your team, develop them, and you're going to see them really work with you. So I hope some of the things that I talked about tonight, that'll help. Again, being a first-line supervisor, this book here from Paul, right here, I love this one, 101 Tough Conversations to Have with Employees, Paul Falcone. He's right on LinkedIn. You can reach out to him, and I order his books on Amazon. And let me tell you, I wish I would have had this book in the 1990s, because nobody knew what to do back then. You just winged it, I guess, if you want to say it. But seriously, really do good. Congratulations on your new position. Learn. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to kick yourself in the ass when you go home. Why did I do that? You're going to be upset at home. You're going to be mad. You're not going to sleep. It's all right. It's okay to learn, as long as you learn, and learn. All right. Thanks, everybody. And I'll be back on Thursday. Now I got to find the right thing here. And we'll talk to everybody soon.